Hello, ladies. Let me know if you guys can hear me. Okay. Happy, what day is it? Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. Um, so, wow. There's so much that I believe that we can talk about. The last time I went live, I talked about Passport Bro Austin Holloman. Now, mind you, obviously in the BWE space in general, as much as the passport bros openly, intentionally, and willingly troll Black women and are constantly talking about how they're constantly talking about how Black women are worried about the passport bros leaving to go with these other women overseas to find wives and all this other stuff. All of that is going on over there, but in the BWE section, no one is really talking about the passport bros like that. It's really not a major topic of discussion over here. And since, before the passport bros, one of them, Austin Holloman, got basically ran out of Brazil, is the word on the streets. Before that, no one was really talking about passport bros in BWE like that. But since, a Brazilian woman, Stephanie Ribeiro, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing her last name correctly, but she's went on a few, Black women platforms and has spoken about her, her perspective on the passport bro movement that's going on with Black men. And, you know, tourism of that kind, all of that has been, coming into surface, right? Like this Brazilian woman is speaking out. So now a lot of Black women are involving themselves, at least tuning in and listening, because she's coming to Black women platforms. Shout out to Tanya TKO. Stephanie was also on Clubhouse, in some Clubhouse rooms ran by Black women, to speak as well about how this just isn't a good look for Brazilian women and Brazil as a whole. So I just wanted to come on and talk about the differences between when Black women go overseas and when Black men go overseas, because I think this is an important conversation so that we understand the separation. Because a lot of people are saying this passport bro movement has a lot to do with how Black people are now going to be seen overseas, but this has nothing to do with Black people. This is a Black men issue. How Black men decide to carry themselves overseas is their business. It has nothing to do with Black women. First of all, Black women have been traveling, by the way. We're not waiting until we're 40 and up, to finally get our passport. Okay. I swear, 2022 and 2023, now 2023, are the years where Black men are finally waking up at 35 plus and discovering that they can get their passports, right? But it's sad that they're discovering that they can get their passports for reasons that are kind of disgusting to a lot of people, which is to just sleep with other women or to get, they claim it's for marriage, but let's be real here. A lot of Black men that I'm seeing, don't know the first thing about looking for a wife. It seems like these men want a woman who is just more like a teacher student type of relationship, not like an actual relationship, a romantic relationship that a husband and wife have. So it's very disturbing, number one. And there are a lot of other people who agree. And I would say there's even other Black men who also agree that this movement, is very strange and kind of disgusting. So I'm just going to share my screen. I'm not sure if you guys have probably seen this video already. You probably have, because it's kind of, I wouldn't say went viral, but it's been spread around, um, everywhere. And hold on. And I'm still going to show it anyway so that we can talk about it and we can see in real time that there are plenty of people, uh, Black men included, that think this type of behavior is unbecoming.
last night, the controversial community of passport bros continues to grow around the country. There's a private Facebook group with more than 10,000 members. Now, the group is known for a bit more than just traveling. Some guys make it their mission to fly around the world, meet more submissive women, and have sex. They are facing a lot of criticism, too. Now, that's from those who critique them. My next guest, Austin Holman, said he had to end a trip in Brazil early after he was accused of being one of those guys who said Brazilian women are easy to get. We talked to him today.
Austin, what kind of damn trouble did you get yourself into with these Brazilian women?
Well, actually, I wasn't trying to start any trouble. I actually thought I was doing a lot of promoting. But apparently some things were lost. Some things were purposely lost in translation on purpose. Um,
So once again, we have, more accountability being lost on Austin Holloman. Now he claims that he, is just trying to promote Brazilian culture, promote Brazilian women. Even that alone is weird. Like, who goes on public platforms to promote a group of women? Like, there are a bunch of objects and commodities to be bought and paid for. So it's really scary that he doesn't understand that, and he's not seeing it from that perspective that the woman you're quote unquote promoting, they're human beings, they're people, they're not for sale. They're not like, they're not your favorite shiny new objects that just hit the clearance stand at Best Buy. Like, they're human beings. They don't deserve to be promoted. They shouldn't be promoted. The way that you create relationships with people is not through promotion, but it's through getting to know them, having commonalities, having good personality, and so forth. Like, promoting and trying to show the world how amazing these women are, it is very strange, and there are certain motives attached to that, that is that is disturbing and really self-seeking for the men that are participating in this type of promotion and this type of behavior.
and that it's led to death threats, and I was already on my way to Thailand anyway. I was going to be in Sao Paulo for about a week. But based off the way how things were going, I just said, you know what, I probably ought to head out 3 or 4 days earlier. So over here now.
So I saw a part of your video where you said, and you clarified, you said some Brazilian women are easy. It depends on who you are, how you approach them, not as a robot, but as an individual. And when they heard that, they just went bonkers over those comments when you said that Brazilian women are easy. Some Brazilian women are easy to get. So why did you say that? Is that reality for you when you're there? Is it easier for you to get Brazilian women than, say, American women?
Yes, the culture is completely different there. So women are a lot more responsive. It's a lot more reasonable dealing with women, if you ask me. There's games everywhere, but there is such a minimal level in Brazil, it's almost unnoticeable. But the reason I said easier, and the thing is, the reason a lot of those Brazilians are in like an outrage is because number one, they're going off, they're just running. It's just like January 6th, right? Trump says do this, everybody runs and does it. That's the same thing they're doing right now. Without watching.
The reason why these women are so in outrage is because you're painting them to be whores. And I don't know what planet a lot of these black men who clearly don't go outside, who clearly have never traveled, which is why they're so excited and ready to finally travel at 30 years old and up. The reason why they think that saying women are easy in these other countries is okay is because they're not used to they're not very well social, like very well socialized. Like, this guy, like, he sounds like he is just really awkward. He doesn't sound like a guy who communicates his points um correctly and effectively. He sounds like a man that would need to do some weird shisty stuff just to get the bare minimum, which is a woman just being nice to him. Like he has to do the absolute most. Like going overseas to get a woman to be nice to you, that's the most. That's doing too much, right? And I know he's going to talk his talk in this video and try to make himself seem like he didn't mean what he said and all this other crap. But there's other footage that was just released where he pretty much goes back on everything he says in this interview. I'm going to keep playing it though, but hold up now. Let me find it. Oh, hold on. Okay, well, let me keep
watching the video without understanding what the title actually is, because the title is a question. The title says, "Are Brazilian women easy?" That's the topic. This is what we're going to talk about. The first statement I made is, they're in general, they're easy to deal with. I didn't say anything about sex. I did eventually and later on in the video, but I didn't lead with that because that's not all that was about. I would not move to another country and get online and call the women easy.
Did you?
And peep how they literally zoomed in on a picture of him putting up a title of a video, "Are Brazilian Women Easy?" And then while he's literally saying that he would never go to another country and just call women easy. Like, what? And even though in the video title, he doesn't call Brazilian women easy, he asked, "Are Brazilian women easy?" In the video, he confirms the answer. So it's like the same thing, but hold up. Let me now this child. So this video I'm about to show you next is currently live. And Austin Holloman came on this live to clarify his points. Now, hold up. How can I get rid of this? There we go. Okay. Now he comes on this particular live earlier today to clarify his points, pretty much going against everything he said in this interview for Fox News in Houston. Comes on here since he's in a safer space on this live, and this is really how he feels. So you guys probably know this content creator already. He's a manosphere dude. So yeah, but we're just gonna hear what he really has to say and how he really feels about the woman in Brazil instead of this fake performative interview he did with Fox News.
Oh, I have a theory as to why these lovely ladies keep talking about us. Now, you haven't read my book. Have you read my book, the first book, The Book of Obsidian, the Black Book?
Not yet.
Okay. Well, I talk about dinner whores in that book. And I want to give you the reason. Even if you put your card down, it's still a win. She dangles out the possibility of sex. Shout out to the late, great Alan. Asian woman, one black woman, both of them coming forward and saying what they doing with these fellas. You got to stop. I hate this. I gotta say it. Stop simping, man. Matter of fact, I got another show lined up about Justin Waller. He up there telling dudes that we out here simping. No, man. Justin, I like you until you start saying brothers need to start simping. No, hell no. That's a night or by the end of that weekend, you ain't that dude. Stop.
Getting licks on men in mass numbers.
A woman that has had child or children without, I just say, you know what? Just don't say nothing. These people got family.
Okay, sorry. I'm just trying to fast forward to the part where he actually asked him. Like they get down to the nitty gritty. So I think this is the part right here.
Families and friends and people that rock with them, just let them grieve. But the way that black women treated Kevin, it did something to me, man. I just can't get over it. I'll be honest with you. And it been a number of my own listeners who told me that was the straw that broke the camel's back. You know, I mean, all the other things, even the way they treated Kobe was really bad when he passed away. But hang tight for a second. So everybody knows what I'm talking about. I'm just not talking shit. Okay. let's see. Hold on a second. Let me get the entire screen up here. Here it is. This comes from Yahoo News and Match.com. The average price of a date in your state, Texas, Austin, it's $110 for a date. Like I overshot by 100. My bad. It's $200 for a date.
And I shouldn't use the word easy. I know that now. I'm sorry. But what I'm saying is, for a man that's well-mannered, well-dressed, that has put in the effort to raise himself, he will have an easier time in Brazil, as opposed to where I was from. That wasn't always the case.
Both American and women around the world are speaking out against the passport bros, arguing these guys are using their status to take advantage of women and even calling it a form of sex tourism and sex trafficking. Let's talk about it. Communications specialist Priscilla Pack and Rochelle Gemini both are here on the Factor Uncensored. We were supposed to do this last week. We're doing it this week. You have done a lot of research. When you think about and what you've heard about passport bros, your opinion on this so-called group?
Let me tell you, they weren't even on my radar. You brought it up to me, and then I saw it, and I was just like, oh, that's cute. You know, guys go and get their passports. My son just got his passport last week. He's 9. So that's cool. Passport brothers. That's what's up. Then I started doing the research, and I'm like, wait a minute. Because I grew up, you know, with 2-parent household. My parents still happily married. I grew up in love. Some people grew up in survival mode, and maybe they just in a whole nother dimension of trying to find love or trying to find easy situations and everything. But at the same time, it was like, why do you have to put down the thing that you don't like in front of everybody just to get the thing that you do want? I don't care.
Okay, what do you think about what's her name, Rochelle Gemini? What did you think of her statement there that you, Austin, and other passport brothers had to put down black women in order to go other places and do what you do? What do you say to that?
I think she ought to be ashamed of herself, because she's just making, first of all, her entire statements was just, they weren't even statements. They were all just assumptions that she did a little bit of research on, a little biased research. She just doesn't know what she's talking about altogether. I think she has no valid talking points. She even said some stuff that kind of contradicted and just was off topic. And she's an OnlyFans model.
Yeah.
So he's saying that the woman that went on this panel to talk about passport bros, and I guess people that think like her, don't know what they're talking about. They're making a bunch of assumptions, but it's like, dude, you put everything on your channel. You say it loud and clear, to the point, very direct. There's nothing to assume here. There's nothing to misconstrue. Like, it's very plain as day. An idiot can figure it out. Like, what are you talking about? She's seeing the same videos that other black women are seeing, that other black men who are against this are seeing, that other Brazilian women are seeing and are clearly angry and creeped out about as well. There is no assuming here. We know what's going on. And other men do too that support this movement. They also do, which is why it's so popular.
I'm glad you said that. I was just about to say that I had gotten wind from Miss Shay Sade. Not only is this lady a OnlyFans model, but she's also a baby mama. That is to say, so that we're clear, a woman that has had child or children without benefit of a husband. We're not talking about a lady that was married, she got divorced or widowed. That's different. We're talking about a baby mama. So what this is saying to me is, here is this woman who is on OnlyFans. She's in my understanding, she's a two-time baby mama. So she probably got more than one baby daddy, as most black women who have kids out of wedlock do. 59% of them have more than one baby daddy. And she's going to be in judgment of you who have no baby daddies, no baby mamas. You ain't out here, doing OnlyFans, or you ain't out here, doing stuff in flagrante. Okay, there's no charge of you doing anything untoward toward the ladies, but she's going to be in judgment of you, and nobody points that out. I think that is shameful, and it is yet another example of the glaring hypocrisy in Black America today. Black women can do no wrong, but no matter what a brother does, he can't do right. Your response?
I would absolutely agree. I have to absolutely agree. Say that last part again. I didn't get that last part though.
The idea that no matter what a black woman does, that's okay. But no matter what a brother does, it's never enough. or it's never right.
It's never enough. It's never, and that's from years of propaganda they've been fed. Years of propaganda has them feeling like they can have it all. And just to say, people are in the comments saying that I need to be saving the community. Well, Kevin Samuels tried that and he's no longer here. So,
wake that one up, as they say over in Clubhouse. Yeah, Kevin tried, and look at what he got for it.
And it's honestly never enough because Black women aren't preying on other people for their own selfish needs. That's why it's never enough. That's why it's always going to be an issue with these men because they continue to be predators in almost everything they do. When they talk like this, when they think like this is predatory thinking. Whether it's going overseas to get some women, whether it's, entering into business on false pretenses, all of it is predatory. All of it's never going to be enough for them to be considered upstanding men versus Black women who aren't starting movements where someone else has to fall prey, where we're the predators and we have to do the absolute most for the bare minimum. That's not happening over here. So it's just very strange. Like, you got to have a really twisted way of thinking to really believe that predatory practicing is enough for you to be an upstanding guy. It just doesn't make any sense. It's very gross. And as we can see, Black men who have thought like this and who have thought like this for decades and continue to think like this, they're going to get the same results. And those results aren't going to get them to where they want or what they want in the end.
For anybody out there that wants to say brothers need to save the community, two words: Kevin Samuels. You were saying, yeah, Kevin Samuels. You were saying, because look at how that worked out for him. I was saying before you came here, Austin, I gave a personal confession, I guess you could say. Kevin and I were close. 300 damn Joan Tree. And of course they can't, really have faith in me, and I really
that. I would like to, again, just like the last woman, I would like for her to give me some valid reasons on why, if you feel like you're not having what you deserve or work for, which is never enough in the States, why do you feel that that person is encouraging other men to find happiness as deplorable?
Brother Austin, I know that it's late as hell over there.
I just, like, is he autistic? No, I mean, really no shade, because he responds to questions very weird. Is it just me? I don't know. I don't know. But he came on this current live from this content creator. It's still live right now, to speak on his Houston interview. And I think that was about it. He didn't, yeah. And I was trying to scroll past it because the content creator just runs his mouth. It's so annoying.
10 minutes. Oh, very good. Let me get through these super chats. My man Black S the people's countries. What do you say to that? Trick in silence. After what we've seen with the New York Post and this lady Jonna Treese on Instagram, he says trick in silence. Really? What do you say to that, Austin?
It's just another female shaming tactic. My channel has showed, and I've always encouraged my channel not to buy women overseas. And I thought I was doing a good job by doing the interviews, by showing them. I mean, apparently it was good enough a job. They felt the need to try to get me kicked out of the country. You don't have to trick in Brazil. You really don't. I'm respecting other people's countries. I'm not disrespecting their country.
Right.
I never called those women whores. I actually spoke very highly of those women. That's why I'm so disgusted.
Let me get brother.
So he's saying you don't have to trick in Brazil. You know why? Because the women are so easy. You don't actually have to buy them. You don't have to seek out prostitutes. Everyday Brazilian woman will just give it on up. That's really what he means. And it's insane. He doesn't understand how offensive that is. And it's also really sad that if men these guys do build themselves up to be these high value guys, and the only thing they're looking forward to is easy sex. That's what's crazy. Okay, that's what's crazy.
To Brazil, were you living there at that
Oh
point?
yeah, I was living there.
Now you're in Thailand.
Yeah, well, I'm not living in Thailand though. I was already gonna come here anyway. I had already put up I think it was 10 or 11 countries I was gonna do this year, but I just came here 4 or 5 days earlier because of everything that was going on. But yeah, I did want to live in Brazil permanently, but I'm gonna have to let this die down first.
So there's this whole movement that we've heard about called passport bros, individuals, usually upwardly mobile African American men who leave the country, and they say they're looking for wives, different women than what they have or the choices that they have in the United States. And many people have taken offense to it, saying it's just a form of sex tourism. It's a form of human trafficking or sex trafficking. When you hear the term, do you consider yourself a passport brother? And what do you think about that so-called movement that we've been seeing as of late here in the United States?
I would consider myself, yes. Now, I do want to state this too. People have called me the leader. I've never claimed that. That's something that they said. There's no official leader of that. I think it's just an identity of somebody that they're traveling for that purpose, traveling to, meet new women and enjoy a different culture and a better lifestyle. Those
But really quick, for those who may say this is just a form of prostitution, you're going to different countries to pay and to have sex with women. You're not truly having a relationship with them.
That's not my reality because I moved there. So, if I'm not going back and forth. So if anybody's going to have a relationship, it would have been me. Now, there are some dudes that do travel back and forth. There are some people do fit into those categories that they claim, but I'm not here to say that's the majority. There are men that go down there just to sleep with women. Women do the same thing too. Women do sex tourism too. But there are men that are enjoying the difference of the culture and programming of women in a different country.
Do you think this gives the movement a bad name, the passport bros a bad name, if your sole purpose is for sex tourism and prostitution?
Yes, and on my YouTube channel, I actually tell dudes not to go down there to deal with prostitutes because you cannot complain about American women and then just go pay for some experience that she's getting paid. I'm not going to say it's not genuine, but I'm going to assume it's not genuine because if you had the money, I don't think she'd treat you like that.
You're absolutely right. Now, one of the comments you made in your video, you said it's extremely hard to find. It's like looking for a needle in a haystack when it comes to a good American woman. So are you doing harm yourself when you make comments like that?
I say that based off of the qualities that I want. And my mother used to cook for me at least twice a day when I was growing up. And I know American women say, oh, you want a mother. Well, if that's how you look at it, so be it. You should have Uber Eats all your food then. But I want a woman that cooks. And the thing is, this is what a lot of people don't understand down here. As an American, 50 grand a year puts you in the top 1% of the world.
So, it's very weird, like how he was saying, hold up. It's just very weird how he's saying that he's going overseas because he has this certain type of woman in his head. And then on top of that, the first quality he states as this ideal woman is one who will cook for him twice a day or more, like his mother did. A grown man, only the first quality he's desiring is a woman who cooks. I guess, what? Wow. Wow. For him to have to do all of this and start all of this for this ideal woman he wants, and the first quality he says that he admires in that type of woman is she cooks. So you're going overseas to find women who will cook for you? What? That's a lot of energy. That's a lot of time. That's a lot of money to go overseas to find a person at that, and then to find a person who does the most basic thing to do, such as cooking, something that human beings have been doing since the beginning of time, because that's how people have been feeding themselves, by cooking for themselves. So, this is why Brazilian women are mad. This is why Brazilian women are mad, because you're coming all the way out there to seek them for reasons that are, to be honest, that's an embarrassing reason to be sought after. That's an embarrassing reason to be sought after. You know what I'm saying? Like, wow. Like, this is why these women are mad, and they're saying it's because of feminism is spreading to Brazil, but it's just not about feminism. No woman anywhere wants to be treated like an object, like a commodity. No woman anywhere wants to be seen as just this utility that a man can use for meals and for, bedroom experiences. Of course, those are things you do for your man. You cook with him and you guys have your intimate moments together, but it's not a good feeling to know that that's the only reason why you're there. And it's not a good feeling to know that that's the only reason why, he's even into you, or why he got interested in you, because he's under this belief you're going to cook all these meals for him. Hey, Lumi. That's just not a good feeling. That's not a good feeling at all. And these guys are clearly, they're not very well cultured. They're not socially, like, acclimated enough. I don't know if I'm saying the word correctly, but for them to think that that is a quality in a wife that's like number one is really sad. Like, if you can find anyone to cook for you, cooking is not something that is hard to do for any woman. Even a woman who may not be the best cook or doesn't cook usually, she can learn. Cooking is an easy thing to learn. Of all skills you can learn how to do, cooking is an easy skill relatively to learn for a lot of people. So if someone doesn't want to cook for you, so as a guy, like, if a woman doesn't want to cook for you, it's probably because she's not really attracted to you. She's not into you. Something's wrong with you. And all these interviews this guy is doing, he does seem a little creepy and weird. He does. And it doesn't matter where he goes. He's had plenty of videos with Brazilian women blowing him off, where Brazilian women are making him seem like this creeper weirdo guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't matter where he goes. There's always going to be a woman available to curve him. He's only like 23. And I was also reading something earlier today. Gosh, I wish I had saved the link. But it was an article about this guy, and someone who's been watching a lot of his videos. They said that he wakes up. He's only 23, mind you. And he would wake up every day and watch adult movies, if you know what I'm saying, first thing in the morning. It was like that was his routine. So it's just no wonder he's a creep, to the point where he is so self-obsessed with pleasuring himself that he's willing to travel the world to find women who will do exactly that. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. That's disgusting. He's a creep. He's not husband material. And if any of these women he's going overseas to be with finds him as husband material, it's definitely going to be because of the dollars, the US dollars. Funny thing, I saw another video where a passport bro was responding to how a lot of black women say that these women are poor, uneducated, and that's why these men are going after them. And he made this video to respond to that. Oops, sorry, he made this video to respond to that by pulling up a clip of a Filipino woman saying that she is educated, she's getting her PhD, all in the Philippines, right? And the stupid thing about this is that it's not that there's no women in these countries that don't make any money and aren't educated. It's just that the US dollar is worth more than the currency in the Philippines. So a woman here who makes 50K is making a lot of money in the Philippines with education and all that, compared to a Filipino woman who has the same level of education in the Philippines, she's not making enough money if she comes here. Like, it's not worth that much. So they're saying he made this video to claim there's all these Americanized rich Filipino women over there. But he's ignoring the fact that the US dollar is worth a whole lot more. So yeah, there's smart women and educated women in the Philippines, but they're not making as much. Like, their money that they make in the Philippines is not comparable to the American women who are just as educated, making a lot of money here in the States. So AKA, they're still technically poor. They're still technically not making a lot of money. Right? He said 51K puts you at the top 1% in most of the world. Dude, it's not true. These guys don't understand currency. They don't. The US dollar is worth a lot, but let's be real. Let's be real. Come on. Yes, and he couldn't understand why they thought it was wrong. He couldn't understand it. It's weird. This is what these really strange, deranged men who look at women as objects, they don't understand the issue when they address women as objects, because they genuinely believe that that's what you are. They genuinely look at you as a utility to be used. That's it. They don't see you as a human being, which is why when you get upset, when you say, stop talking about me like that, they think you're like, what's your problem? What's wrong with you? Like, they don't get it. They don't get it. And it's very weird. It's very weird. Something ain't right mentally. And these types of guys are never going to really be satisfied with any type of, they're going to go from woman to woman until they drop to the ground. That's really just how these types of men end up. They don't end up being, family men. They don't end up being men to look up to in society overall. They end up just looking like creeps to the majority of people. Yes, they have their little minions that support them, but they still seem like creeps.
So as an American, you go somewhere to another country, you have enough excess income to eat out 3 times a day in Brazil or Thailand or Colombia. You can eat out 3 times a day. So whoever my wife is, she's not even gonna be cooking anyway, because when I was in the States, I cooked for myself, but I have my money multiplied 5 times when I got to Brazil. So why would I stand in the kitchen and cook when I can just go downstairs and eat and somebody make it for me? So
you do know, though, Austin, there are American women who will cook for you if you're deserving of that meal.
Well, okay, so that's the problem. What is deserving?
Meaning you're a good husband. You bring home the bacon, and they're bringing home the bacon together.
It sounds good. It sounds good. I think at a young age I realized it wasn't like that anymore.
Did you give it a chance? And how old are you now?
23.
How old?
23.
23?
Yeah.
Man, you ain't giving no damn time.
I didn't need to. I gave it 2 or 3 years, and yeah, I went to Brazil one time, and I didn't talk to anybody since I got back.
That's when he lost my ass. 23.
Yeah, this guy is like, I ain't falling for it. 23. 23 years old. Like, let's be real. Let's be for real. 23. Like, you don't know anything about, look, if you're having these types of problems, like, there's nothing wrong with being 23 and talking about dating and relationship. But if you're 23 talking about you need to leave the country to find decent interactions, like romantically with other people, you shouldn't be setting up your microphone to talk about anything regarding dating and relationships. I'm sorry, because you don't know what you're talking about. Hey, Lumi, I would love for you to come up and share your thoughts on this if you have time, if you want. How is a black woman making money? Says, how is a 23-year-old coaching 40-plus-year-old? I'm about, girl. It's really bad. It's really sad. To other black men, even the host of the show, even he is like, what in the hell? Like, Even he is saying something ain't right. Like, you're only 23. You don't know what you're talking about. To be talking about something like this, going out of the country, involving other groups of people, talking about other cultures, like, you have to be very well traveled, and that takes a lot of time and a lot of years out of someone's life to really know what you're talking about. Like, you don't, a person who's 21 to 25, you probably have done a lot of traveling, but there's so much more of the world you still need to see, so much more about culture that you still need to learn. And if I was that age group, I wouldn't set myself up as the person that can give you the lowdown end all be all on this cultural group, unless I've been traveling maybe well into my 30s, well into my 40s, been there multiple times, had all types of situations and experiences, then I would believe, okay, like, I think I do know a lot about this cultural group. I've seen a lot. But he's just not there. He's not there. He's not it. And plus, he's only traveling for one specific reason at that. He's only traveling for one specific reason. Okay, so this link is going to be for Lumi to come on up. So I wouldn't, he looks really, I don't want to be, he doesn't look the part to be talking about traveling and talking about, um, how it should be when, you go overseas, the end all be all. And he's putting his camera in these young women's faces, trying to prove to these men how easy they are. You'll get all the smiles and hugs from these women if you come down here. And these women are like, we are not here, and our existence is not solely to. It's not solely just to please you. Hey, Lumi, you're on the
Hey
stream.
there.
Can you hear me?
Hey there, can you hear me?
Yes. I'm so glad you
Awesome.
decided to come on.
Yes, I literally only have a little time because I'm getting one of my tattoos finished. So I only have a little bit of time, but I definitely wanted to come up and perhaps just speak something because, I've been seeing this guy a lot and just this thought process
Hmm.
because I've actually been doing some research for a video I'm doing, and the fact that they can't see that instead of constantly saying how worthless women are or how women need to change, they really need to look at themselves, especially for a guy that is 23 years old who thinks he knows everything about life and about women, but refuse to see his own actions and how this is constantly dictating the type of experiences that he's having. You get what I'm saying?
Right, exactly. And also his lack of self-awareness and his ability to even
Yes.
admit the truth and admit really what it is. He's trying to like dress it up to make it sound more appealing, but it's really, really bad.
Exactly. And I think that it's important for, videos like this because though, it may seem a bit repetitive, I think that it needs to be shown, especially to Black women, because we've internalized these lies for so long that we need people like you who really break these things down and just show how asinine their thought processes are. And hey, Molly.
Yes, thank you so much. I really wanted your perspective too, because you do an amazing job of breaking
Thank
things
you
like
so
this down.
much.
And really, I mean, you really put out incredibly good content to help
Thank
Black
you.
women and girls see the truth of what's going on, because there are younger Black women who are very impressionable, who are logging on to see this
Yes.
and are internalizing that there's something wrong with them, that the men that don't look like me don't want me. Instead, they want this random chick from the Philippines. What's wrong with me? So these conversations are important. Content creators definitely like you, and like Black women making money, and just so many other content creators coming up, like, we're important, and we matter, and these topics and these discussions definitely matter. So it's disgusting. I'm glad that a lot of other people are starting to see it as well, and they're starting to see just the foolery that a
Yeah,
lot of men
absolutely.
have, towards towards Black women and all the different ways they're trying to deal with it. And it's just really foolish.
Yeah, I was watching Destiny. He's this debater, and I love to debate. And so I was watching him, and he did a video with the Manosphere guys, with Angry Man and things like that.
So
And,
yeah.
people in the comments, from different cultures and different races was really saying how, how diabolical the thought process is with these guys. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And the only people who believe them is Black women. And what's crazy is, it really shows if you really sit down and you actually listen to what they're saying, and then you go to platforms like this to really discuss this, you see that when you break these things down, these men say that they don't even desire Black women, but spend their time disparaging them, but not changing their actions for other types of women, right? And then we have to really look at how that is a manifestation of the self hate that they have within themselves. You know what I mean?
Exactly, because other races of people, like I saw those comments too, and they were genuinely so confused as to why the Black men think like this, and as to even why they believe the lies they're telling each other. Like this, the numbers just don't make sense. The
Mm-hmm.
stats don't make sense. The anecdotal stories don't make sense. Like none of it makes any sense
None of
whatsoever.
it.
And they look foolish. They look like children. They look like
I
children that just don't want to grow up.
I think the scariest thing is that one, the men who try to talk on these topics and in that, in that sphere don't do the research. And it's clear for us who do read and do the research. I think that's the most disturbing part because they are willfully ignorant, right? So as long as, I'm able to put a piece of propaganda in the atmosphere, to hell with everything else. You know what I mean? And I think that that's the most disturbing thing. And I also think that that is the thing that really shows that, there's no compassion, there's no empathy with them. It's just ego, and it's fine time for, Black women to really see what it is, see the truth of what these things are, and be able to call it out, as well as to be able to then remove themselves from people who have these thought processes, honestly.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, I'm glad that it's getting exposed, their behavior,
Hmm.
how they're thinking, how things just don't make sense for it to just all be Black women's fault. And we just got to get away from Black women. We got to go overseas. We got to, all this other stuff. Other people are starting to see Black women aren't the problem. They're literally the only ones holding the community together. They're the only ones raising the children. They're the only ones who are still trying to go to school and excel
Yep.
and enter into different industries to help better the community as a whole. They can't be the problem if they're the only ones who are still holding on and trying to do work. That just doesn't make any sense.
I agree, and once again, going back to, people who read, you'll see that Black women are actually thriving, in different avenues. I think that the only thing that Black women need to really take accountability for is who they're sleeping with, and then continuously, honestly producing this same Blackistanian thoughts, right, and ideas, because if we're constantly creating these same patterns with individuals who don't even see the fault, right, and they've grown, and then they select men who have also grown up in this same type of atmosphere with the Black male worship and things like that, as well as I feel like constantly not honoring ourselves, but always being willing to support them. I think that those are two things that really need to change, just when focusing on Black women, because if you look at everything else, I think I said in one of my videos recently that, if you look at education, if you look at economics, right, if you look at even the image that Black women are changing from the stereotypes that have been portrayed first towards us than by us, right? For generations. I really feel like once we get to the point where we're not listening anymore to this madness and really looking more within ourselves and seeing the truth in the matter, I really think that that's what will then be able to help us elevate. But if we don't do that, then that's what's going to keep us as as the sector of Black women. I think it's going to keep us stagnant. So I'm hoping that it changes faster than what it is. But I do see changes. So I'm glad. I mean, we're here. I was definitely in Blackistan before, the mindset, the actions and everything, but I think that Black women need to just be more precise and selective when mating. I think that that's what will really help us change the narrative.
Yeah, absolutely. You're definitely spot on. I mean, we've all been there. We've all, for the most part, a lot of Black women who have decided to date outside of their race, be divester, a lot of those women will tell you that, hey, I used to think that my Prince Charming was this type of Black man. I used to think that I could thrive in this type of community. But a lot of Black women are waking up and seeing what's going on and thinking, I just got to live for me. Like,
Absolutely.
I can't do that anymore. It's not what I thought it was growing up. And, I have to move on. I have to do what's best for me.
Yes, absolutely. Fine. I'm about to get my tattoo finished. Thank you so much for having me on your
Thanks
show.
for
And of
coming
course,
up.
I will be back. So blessings to all of you ladies. And I'm going to leave the chat as well so I can focus on this pain.
Thank you so much, Lumi. I appreciate you so much. I'll talk to you soon.
Alrighty, my dear. Bye bye now.
Bye. Okay, I put Lumi's channel in the chat. You guys subscribe. But welcome, Mocha Mommy, to the stage.
Hi, how are you?
How are you? I'm doing good. What do you have
Good.
to say?
Well, I had made I was so reluctant to make it until you made your first Passport Bro video. And I had talked about my experience traveling overseas and what it was like. I spent most of my young adult life in the military, and what it was like when I did see those types of experiences with African American men and international travel. And it's just was you're doing a very good job of bringing up the mindset. But I don't think there is due diligence on their part with how, even though international travel has been one of the best things that has ever happened to me, I really do think that that due diligence needs to happen, and that's not what's being discussed. And I don't know, I just think it's real interesting.
Yeah. So can you kind of go more into the due diligence that you're thinking they need to, like, what would that conversation look like in your opinion?
Well, I think the culture of South and Central America and the Spanish-speaking Caribbean and what they're saying that they're trying to get away from. I had brought up, several articles from different sources about how these are mostly Catholic countries, but a large percent of the children are born out of wedlock. In fact, it's 84% in Colombia, higher than what African American women have. And this is why they say they're leaving. And also, too, I didn't include it, but STIs and STDs in Brazil. I mean, even higher than what we have here in the United States of America. And these are the reasons why they say they're leaving. And I really feel like also, too, the reality of organized crime, especially now that certain South American and Central American countries are collapsing. So there's a reason why they're telling you to come over. There's a reason why they're putting women on webcams and they're eavesdropping on these conversations because it's a dangerous place to be. I know that because with my husband being from that part of the world and us traveling there extensively, I'm not saying don't do it, but I'm saying what they're doing, they're walking like right into a lion's den, and because they're so mad at Black women. And I'm not going to say anything about it. Like, good luck. Get into a car accident in Sao Paulo, Brazil. Good luck. Get gastroenteritis in Mexico. Good luck. End up in the Philippines with trying to find a rental property, and when they're doing things in cash and the crazy exchange rate and what happens when you try to exchange American money in their banks. Good luck. And it's really sad that I've seen so many soldiers experience these things and have paychecks and pensions stolen and end up very ill, and then when they're in critical care they drop it off at the American doorstep, and we have limited resources overseas. I mean, it's some sad situations I've seen, but I'm not saying don't travel. Because one thing that travel has done is it's made me a better person. But at the same time, you got to travel in a protected group, and you have to make sure that you know what you're doing.
I absolutely agree with you. These countries, they are not, you should go there with caution. Like, they're not like some kind of utopia Atlantis where everything is great, amazing, and perfect. There's a lot of resources from these countries that are missing. And if you just indulge irresponsibly, you're going to be the one to suffer. And your rights as an American citizen, you're under their jurisdiction down there. So it's just not the same compared to like, it's obviously not the same compared to what you can get here in the US if you were to go through those things. And a lot of these young guys who are just now, well, really older guys who are just now discovering that they can get a doggone passport, that's beyond me. They're treating it like they're, kids in a candy store or something. And it's just like, like, you can literally, you can get into some stuff and your life will never be the same after that. So proceed with caution. Alexandria, yeah, you can come up. Let me drop the link. Anyone can come up. I dropped the link for Lumi, but any of you guys can come up if you want to talk about this.
But I just want to just encourage you ladies that, international travel is amazing. My oldest daughter is going to be doing a study abroad program in Europe. And I said that travel in one of the 4 protected groups, like missionaries, educators, students, or luxury travel. Like, if you're not in one of those 4 protected groups, you may want to think about what you want to do to travel. And I think this year, with Texas being so international, because Houston is now like an international hub for incoming citizens, and really listening to the stories of the people who are coming from the parts of the world that these men talking about they're visiting, and listening to their stories. And these are middle class and upper class people because they were able to buy a plane ticket and they can afford the visa process, right? So already, like, just even the middle class and the upper class people from the Philippines, from parts of South and Central America, they're having challenges too. And even though the American economy, it is slowing down, this is a global recession, and so many people, their currency is way less stable than ours. SEC has its problem. FDIC has its problem. The American dollar has its problem, but it's nothing compared to what people who are coming from Venezuela, Argentina, Colombia, Brazil, Costa Rica, Mexico, even. Like, this is it. I mean, all I can say is just, I would never wish any ill will on anyone, but no one's talking about that.
I dropped off a little bit because I tried to change internet, but you're talking with a lot of.
But ladies, definitely still travel. I think there's just some great opportunities out there.
But you are talking with a lot of sense and talking in a way that, Black women should really listen to the tips you're giving. Definitely in these travel groups, luxury groups, going somewhere on your own, just all willy-nilly, I wouldn't suggest that as my first, way of traveling. especially if it's somewhere you've never been, into a country that has a lot of those types of issues like STD rates, and check out the homicide rates, and all types of other stuff. Those are all important things to look into. Hey Alexander, you're live on the stream. How are you? Thank you for the super
I'm good.
chat as well.
You're welcome. Um, I'm always
Can you?
support.
Oh snap!
What? What happened?
Sorry. Okay, sorry about that. I had I fixed my audio. But go ahead. Sorry, what you were saying? Welcome.
Thanks for having me up here. I would like to say that it's funny that you know the passport bros want to go ahead and gaslight black women. Because I've seen it firsthand that they do still talk about black women and how they beat them and how they just plain talk trash. But from where I'm standing at, and they're up there exploiting the women overseas. I mean, from what? Uh, For what? Just to get clicks and views? Or just to put down other black women? And I actually did a live saying that black women should put their focus on their happiness instead of focusing on the black community, because at the end of the day, I'm seeing the disrespect from a mile away. So in my book, I'm like, why march for a group of men who don't respect women in any shape or form? Uh, They only respect women when the women give them validation and stuff like that.
You make a good point. But I think even so, we're saying like, oh, you're going over there to exploit people, not realizing how easily you can be exploited, if you're going over there blind. And so to ladies, if you ladies want to travel internationally, which I suggest you do, please make sure you save up and get an American Express card, because their concierge service will help you out of a lot of jams, and they will let you know the reliable places to exchange money, to stay, to travel, the excursions that won't hurt you. You know what I mean? The excursions that won't exploit you. So I would honestly say, like, the American Express card, that should be one of the first things you should do if you're going to travel internationally.
And I talk and I'm thinking about. I also think about talking about black women in the life that I'm thinking about having on Saturday. I'm thinking about doing a live on why black women should travel, and 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 all that, because to tell you the truth, um Japan, from what I'm seeing, I mean, Japan is real beautiful, especially in
Yeah.
Tokyo, because because at the end of the day, I mean, the only way I saw Tokyo was from anime, and that's about it. And a little bit of the pro wrestling shows, but I never seen it in person. And I think it would be cool one day if I can see how it looks in person. Yeah, I do think that black women should travel, and if they happen to, find a love in any country, uh, then then I wouldn't let the black community stop them from being happy. And that's the thing about it, is that in my book, black women, the ones who are cautious about what the black community thinks, I think I think they should focus on their own happiness instead of worrying about what the black community thinks, because the black community would eventually undo all the hard work that black women did to heal themselves.
Yeah, I think Japan is a great idea. Like I went to there and I talked about that in my video, what it was like, and it was, even though it was over 20 years ago, I had a really good time, and that's one of the cities per capita that's has most safety, per like the least amount of crime per 1,000 people. Tokyo is, to be as crowded as it is. I mean, even though I like Nagano a lot better than Tokyo, I think it was like a lot of fun. It was a really great experience. And yeah, it gets harder. The harder you get away from the city center, the harder it is to get around, because people in the city center and the metropolitan area speak English. You're more likely to find someone. But as you travel further out, it gets to be a challenge. But I think now with technology, it's becoming a lot easier, because there are translation apps on your phone that can help you get around, and also translation apps that can help you learn the language before you get there. So again, I agree with you that we should prioritize our happiness, and to travel and to look into the places that are a little bit safer for travel, international travel, because I think there's a lot of opportunity.
Yeah, there's a lot of opportunity for Black women who want to travel overseas. I would say even for Black women who want to do business overseas. And when I do see Black women traveling, and technically we've been traveling for quite some time, taking trips, all that stuff, that's been something that a lot of Black women have been on the internet talking about for the past couple of years, since TikTok and Instagram and all these, all these other apps like became big in the later 2000s. Traveling has been a big deal for Black women, and the number one reason why Black women don't travel is to find a man, to find a spouse. That is something that any woman can find right here in the good old USA, or in any country you currently reside in. No woman needs to fly across the world to find a spouse. There's plenty of things that us as women can do to create the love life that we want. And it's just sad that a lot of men, particularly these types of men that want to travel overseas, don't really understand how they can do that for themselves. But that's really not anyone else's problem. These guys who claim they want traditional relationships but are totally down to utilize all these non-traditional methods to get that traditional relationship, it's up to them to figure out a dating strategy that's going to work for them. But I know one thing is that talking trash about women all over the world and calling them easy, if you want a traditional relationships as a guy, that's just not a way. That's just not how it's going to happen. That's not a way to do it, in my, in my opinion. But hey, what do I know?
I do have a question though. What do you think of? I'm not going to call it bridal tourism, because they don't market it that way. But in places like Northern Europe, right, where they have like a shortage of females, places like Reykjavik, Oslo, parts of Denmark, where there are not, just, I don't know what it is, if it's genetic or something, where just a lot of people in Northern Europe, there's just the men outnumber the women so drastically. And then you get this thing where they're like recruiting a lot of like women to come over there to fill like traditional female occupation roles. Even though they're, really liberal and open-minded, there still is a critical shortage of teachers and healthcare workers that are usually female-dominated professions. And they recruit pretty heavily from the United States because they don't have to pay to educate them. They have a free education system there, but they don't have to pay to educate them like if they were to recruit from other countries. But some people say that they get over there and a lot of people I don't know, you get approached quite a bit and you get, because again, there's a woman shortage. Like, I don't know, what do you feel about that? Do you feel as if, countries that may need women, particularly educated American women, and how often these women are getting approached, are you opposed to that? Do you think it's a negative? Do you think it's a positive? What do you think?
No, I think it's a good thing if, that woman thinks that's for her. I mean, she's still not seeking it out in these countries for like predatory means. I mean, if she's being offered a job or an opportunity to help improve that society in some type of way, that community that's calling for her, or she signs up to want to be, you know, to want to give her services. I think that's fine too. Obviously, as long as you're safe, as long as you created a good network, all those things. The safety is like probably the main thing, no matter what. That should be like number one. But other than that, something like that is nowhere near the level of the passport bros for sure. And for a lot of black women who are willing to go that route and want to go that route and just so happen to find love along the way, then uh, more power to them, absolutely, because it's like the best of both worlds. You're getting an opportunity to expand your professional skills through service, and you can create the love life you desire through that as well. I don't think it's wrong or weird if a woman takes an opportunity to expand her skills or to go somewhere else to do so. I think anything is wrong if it's predatory, it's for your own selfish desires, only you're benefiting and you're not considering the other person or the other party involved. And when you do consider it, you kind of just don't really care, or it's like, bare minimum, no effort to see about the other person, to see about the other party involved. I think that is when anything like this becomes an issue. That's just my opinion. But I didn't even know programs like that were happening, to be honest. I had no idea.
Yeah, you'll see it a lot, especially if you're a nurse or a teacher. It's just a critical shortages of them in lots of countries, throughout the Middle East, throughout Northern Europe, and even parts of Southern Europe, like Greece and Malta. Just, and then just even parts of Spain and Italy, there's just kind of like a population bust, and they just need younger, educated people to just kind of come in there and to help revive their populations and their economies. And I think that we're going to start seeing things like that more often. And with Black women, being one of the more educated groups, I mean, that's basically one of the opportunities that my oldest daughter is going to be taken care of. Like a lot of the universities are kind of drying up in Southern Europe, and they're really recruiting heavily American students. And I mean, of course, my mama heart is a little, sad, but I'm excited for her because I think it's a good opportunity.
That's an amazing opportunity. And on top of that, those places have a lot of, history. They have a very, very rich culture. And in terms of, the negative things that can happen in those countries, I'm not saying those countries are probably perfect, but as far as like the things we hear in South America, in terms of crime and STDs, I don't hear those types of things also in those European countries at the same level. At least I'm sure they go on, I'm sure it happens, of course. No place is perfectly safe and perfectly STI free, but it's just important to look into all those things. And I would say that those countries don't pop up on those studies at high levels like South America does, at least.
Yeah, I would definitely say, like, speaking to like the university liaisons and checking out their website, and then contacting other people through social media who have gone through these particular study abroad programs. Like, and it makes a lot of sense. I'm gonna miss her like crazy, of course. And of course I'll probably be worried, but at the same time too, I see this as we've done our due diligence, and I'm excited for her. And I'm excited for any Black woman who wants to take on these opportunities. But I think too, the due diligence needs to be done. And that's what I'm not seeing on their end. And I can see, I know already there've been a lot of cases where, we had that guy in California. This was, unfortunately, it was a man who was killed, and the United States is not going to investigate it at all because of just how convoluted organized crime is. And there's been several people who've been reported missing from Mexico, going over there from Fort Bliss. And it's been happening even when I was a soldier there, it's been happening. Like, so nobody's talking about that. Nobody's talking about, I think we're talking about Andrew Tate in prison in another country, but I don't know if he's an American citizen. But, what happens when you do break the law or perceive to break in the law over there? Because you've heard one thing on the internet, but then the reality of that country's laws, those are all things they're not discussing. And I would hope that in our space, we start discussing like, hey, if you're going to travel internationally, this is how you need to protect yourself.
Yes, absolutely. You're the American rights you have, you go to another country, you're under their jurisdiction. It's not the same here. Alexander, I saw you unmute your mic. What did you have to say on this topic?
Oh yeah. I agree that Black women should, travel for opportunities over there as well, because I think educated Black women would actually help northern and southern England, and I also think that if the opportunity came their way, I think it would be best for Black women to take that opportunity, because that opportunity may open doors to future generations of young Black women who are educated in the near future. But I'm gonna go ahead and go. I'll see. I guess I'll see you all in. If y'all want to visit my channel, you all are free to do so. But I'm a go.
Thank you for supporting us.
Thank you for the support. I'll drop the link to your channel as well in the chat.
Okay, and Mocha Mommy, it's great to see you again. And Fine Womanhood, is a pleasure to support your channel. And I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna jump off. Take care.
Thank you, Alexander. Take care. Yeah, make sure you guys subscribe to Alexander's channel. He's a big supporter for Black women. He does make really great content, and he has really good discussions on his channel. So I think I just dropped the link, or is it? There it is. So, I think when Black women do talk about traveling, it's just a lot different. The last thing that's discussed is like finding a husband. A lot more of it is, business or professional opportunities of any kind, pleasure, of course. There's so many Black women who post their trips on, TikTok and things of just them enjoying like the luxuries of traveling. Hold on, let me show my screen. Hopefully you guys can see. And lately what I've been seeing of Black women that travel is that they'll post things like this: budget-friendly travel destinations. They'll drop like facts about countries that are safe to travel, affordable to travel, for everyone. But it's really nice to see other Black women um, doing this when they travel. They're having a good time, they're enjoying themselves. You have a lot of solo Black women travelers. I've been seeing that a lot too. A lot of Black women going places on their own, or maybe they're joining groups with other like solo travelers as well and making friends. A lot of solo traveling for Black women that I've been seeing, where the notion of you don't have to wait on anyone, go travel, go do your thing, and they book a resort and then they just stay on the resort and enjoy it and live life. And I actually took a solo trip myself to Hawaii last year. I went to Maui and it was so nice. I stayed in like a cottage. I just walked a whole lot. I've journaled. I listened to podcasts. I took lots of pictures of the beautiful scenery. I went in the water. I took a nap on the beach and everything. I felt very safe because I was in a part of Hawaii that wasn't too crowded. It was like kind of the countryside of Hawaii. Um, so I felt very safe, and the people that were around me were very nice, very sweet, very kind. I actually saw another Black girl who was traveling on her own too. I saw her like walking around the same little village that I stayed in my college cottage on her own as well. She was like a few miles down, but when I would walk around and drive in the car, I'd see her too. So, Black women are traveling on their own, minding their own business, enjoying
Yeah.
themselves, and exploring culture. And the last thing that they're talking about is how to get a man in these countries to do anything for them.
But what do you think about when women go overseas and check out like a dating app in another country?
I think, I've personally never done that, so I can't speak from like experience. But I think that if you do want to go on a date, if you're on a solo trip, first thing I'll always say to these is make sure you're safe, a public place, where there's other people around. But I still don't think there's anything wrong with that. I feel like if you do want to do any dating overseas, that is the experience. It's just that when I see that can be part of your experience when it's traveling, there's nothing wrong with that. But it's just that when I see Black women posting content of them traveling, the motive isn't to date. Like the motive is not to find a spouse or find a boyfriend. Like the motive is to genuinely experience what the location has to offer. And maybe they do meet someone. Maybe they do want to download a dating app to see how the men are. And then they, check out other things the next day. I have no form of like judgment for Black women who want to download a dating app while they're on vacation. But just from what I'm seeing, I'm not seeing a lot of Black women go overseas to download dating apps to go on dates versus that's kind of what I'm seeing of the passport bros is they're booking trips to find women. First thing they're doing is downloading a dating app. They ain't even trying to check out the food first. Like that's like
That's a good point.
like that's the main thing I see those guys doing. Like it's literally about dating for them is why they're traveling overseas versus Black women is they travel overseas for multiple reasons, and dating can be one of them, just like anything else.
Yeah, I just thought that was real interesting. Like when I did hear about some, I mean, I know my older sister goes to Spain a lot, and she has a lot of girlfriends that go to Spain. That one of the times they said next time we go back, we're gonna go do that. And even though my sister, she's attached now, but she was saying like it was interesting how they were able to meet literally people from all over the world on a dating app in Spain, and they met people from like 12 or 13 different countries. I think that's really cool. I think that's kind of cool.
Wow. I mean, it's amazing. And there's also I know a lot of other women that will travel solo, but they'll stay in these hotels called hostels. I think that's what they're called. Um where it's like a cheaper version of like a hotel, but you get like a roommate and you stay in bunk beds and they go places on their own and stay in these hostels. I think they're called hostels or something like that.
Yeah, you use
Um,
yeah.
and it's an easy way for them to meet people that way too. I mean, there's a lot of different ways that women travel that isn't centered on like the bare minimum of like trying to get a date. Like, we can all get dates. It ain't hard to get a date anywhere.
That's
Like,
true. That's true.
that is so easy. So why would you spend a couple hundreds of dollars and probably even more going to a place just to get a date? Like, women just don't do that. Men and women are different, clearly. Um, it's just not our thing. And I love the way that Black women promote how they travel. These videos are amazing. These videos where you see the scenery, you see the beautiful waters, you get a good idea of the food. Like, they actually care about the experience of being in a different environment. And that's why Black women going overseas and traveling is there's never been a problem. Like, there is no problematic viral content that Black women are doing or putting out when they travel. Like, when Black women travel on their own, it's no one's looking at that like, oh my gosh, a Black woman is here, versus these passport bros, and considering what's going on and how they're going viral for it, it's going to change their image. People are going to be cautious when they see these types of guys walking around, like the locals and stuff.
Yeah, that's true. I remember always being mistaken for either a student or, or sometimes a soldier, because they know like, oh, you must be, especially in Asia, because there's not like ton of Black people in Asia. They're like, oh, you a soldier? I'm like, yeah, clearly,
Yeah.
But it was funny. Or like the further you got away from the base, one of the things I didn't know was that Janet Jackson was like the first major pop star to put Seoul, Korea on her world tour list.
Really?
Yeah, she like broke. And so a lot of people would like, you would see like little kids like, Janet Jackson. I'm like, girl, hey, Janet. Like, I thought that was really interesting when I learned that. Like, yeah, that. And so I think that was one thing that was really cool too about South Korea, even more recently. I feel as if you ever get lost in South Korea, ladies, ask a little kid, because I feel like their English is a lot better than most of the adults. so that's just a travel tip for you. If you're in South Korea, get lost, ask a little kid for directions.
That is so funny. I mean, I have seen lots of videos like that too, where Black women are going to these countries and they're being asked, "Are you Beyonce, Rihanna, Janet Jackson?" They're hilarious.
Yeah,
like it's just
fun.
really, it's funny, and it's so fun. I mean, it's so just like it's just enjoyable, it seems to me. And notice how in just some of these videos, like the Black women are not putting their cameras in faces of men and trying to ask them questions and interview them and all this other weird stuff. Like, they're recording the genuine experience, like the places and the monuments of these countries. Like, they're not so focused on guys and what they can get out of them. Like, I mean, there's just so much more to these cultures than just seeing what the dating stuff is like. I mean, like, to the point where you're recording it and uploading it for the world to see. Like, that is not a reason why a lot of Black women would be attracted to traveling to that country,
I agree. I mean, I've been to several parts of Asia, but one place I've never been was Bali. And I don't think I'd go now because of how long that plane ride is. That's a long
It
plane ride.
is a long ride. I've never been either, but I have friends that went, and they told me it was so long and exhausting, but it is like really pretty. And I would love to go someday too, but I am scared about that long plane ride.
Yeah, so I think that if you are to do like a study abroad or stay abroad, think about, if you are going to go to Japan, make sure you go there and you see, like the Philippines and, other parts of Southeast Asia from Japan, because I think it could be really exhausting to go from like New York to Phuket Beach, Thailand. I mean, I know if I had not been stationed in South Korea and stationed in Japan, I would have not seen most of Asia because just how exhausting the plane ride was. I mean, in the Middle East, the same thing. I would say, like, that's another thing too. We might need to talk about, like, how much time do you have off, and is it going to be worth it because Bali is affordable travel, but do you want to spend 2 of those days traveling just to get there?
Right. Yeah, you would have to take extra time off because it takes time to takes yeah, those 2 days to get there and get back. You would have to have a very flexible type of job. Entrepreneurs obviously can create their own schedule, stuff like that, because these really, really nice countries, the traveling to get there is takes a toll on you 2 days.
What's the
But it
furthest you've traveled?
oh my gosh. Honestly, I have not done that much. Probably Jamaica. Yeah, gotta be Jamaica. I haven't done too much traveling yet because right when I finally got a job where I can afford to travel, the pandemic happened. So I
Yeah, yeah.
wasn't able to do it. Yeah, that was like way before I like came on YouTube and everything. And I was like, okay. But this year I do plan to go to Europe. Um, I do plan to go to Mexico.
If you go to Europe, spy on my daughter. Make sure she's doing all right.
Yeah, I want to do like one of those European tour type of things, where I'm like going to, I guess, certain European cities are kind of, you can take like some kind of train and you can like go to each one or something like that, I think.
Yeah. Oh.
So those are the types of traveling I'm trying to do this year. That's on my list. I would also really love to go to Greece, but I think that's another like 20 something hour flight, I believe.
Yeah, that's true.
Um, but do you have any travel plans this year?
Girl, I got a kid in college, so it looks like it's going to be more staycation-y. Like they're going to be road trips, I guess. I have one daughter who's going to be going studying overseas, and I have another who is going to be doing some travel for her sport. So yeah, most of my travel plans are going to be revolved around those 2 things. So that's why I suggest, like, while you ladies are young and single, please do it while you're young and single, like, because now you paying for somebody else's travel after that. You're paying for your daughter or your son's travel or their education. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I love staycations too. Like, there's so many just nice hotels that can be in your area with good, like, spa packages. And that could be a really nice way to just escape like your everyday routine to like go to a nice hotel and indulge there too. Shoot, you can still meet amazing people that come in through the hotel and eat really good food. And staycations are definitely a vibe. They're definitely a move for sure.
Yeah, we do. And we have an RV because we're traveling with kids. So we're going to be doing a couple like road trips, RV trips, but international travel. I definitely had to put that on hold. Other than getting my daughter where she needs to be, I have to put that on hold.
Yeah. Yeah, it is expensive to travel overseas. Definitely want to save, if your resources are a little bit limited, it's okay to save. And they do have a lot of like traveling payment plans where you can do like a down payment, and then pay the rest when you get there in a couple of months, just for you girlies who are trying to decide how you can, you know, um, plan your finances for traveling. Always go for those too. I did that with my trip to Jamaica. I paid like a $200 at the time I booked, and then the rest was due when I got there. And that gave me plenty of time to save because I booked like months in advance. So
Yeah, I
those,
would
those
say
are
that too. I'd say give yourself a year. Give yourself a year to save up.
right.
And I can say honestly, like any trouble I've ever had traveling anywhere, American Express has always been there for me. Because I did have like the American Express, the military one, and then I upgraded when I left the military. And their concierge service always, like, from flight delays to your hotel being overbooked to getting sick from getting food poisoning, because that happens too, they've always been there for me. So that's another suggestion. So start manifesting it now and start by getting your American Express card, because they will take care of you.
Yes. So can you talk about how you were able to get yours? Like, because I heard do you have to have a really good credit score to get that? Because I have some girlfriends that want one, but they're still working on their finances, trying to get the credits together. And just all of the other benefits that come with your card that you've used and have worked for you.
Yeah, I mean, I did get it through the military at first, and that was their entry level card. And they do have like an entry level card. I think it's the blue one. And then if you're consistent and you're good with it, you can work your way up to the green and to the gold. But it is definitely worth it for travel. They take care of you. I mean, even like one time we were traveling and we forgot like our car seat wasn't compatible with the rental because we were in Germany, and they found us a car seat. Like, you know what I mean? Like they will do literally everything for you. So it may seem like you're paying for something, but if you're in a profession like we had where we were in the military and you do want to, leave the base and go on excursions, it's in your best interest to have, even if you aren't using it for that particular trip, just to have it because that concierge service is always there for you. So if you do not qualify right now, make it your goal to qualify because it's going to make your life a lot easier. Because my oldest daughter too, I just had to get her one. And of course, with her being only a teenager, she had to work her way up to get an American Express card. And of course, we helped her. But
Yeah.
yeah, my kids are a little spoiled, God bless them.
No, it sounds like you're preparing them. I love that. I definitely plan to do that with my kids for sure. Get them, get them started early. That's like the best way to get them set up for later on in life. They're learning so much now as young adults and teenagers. And, they're really going to be thankful that, you prepared them. And, I think that's a beautiful thing. And
Yeah.
shoot, I wish my mom did.
Yeah, because I do want them to be globally educated. That was something we both wanted, and I think the culture their dad comes from. The girls are a little bit spoiled, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
They're a little spoiled.
Yeah.
Which and it's like and you have to kind of always walk the line because you don't want to be too hard on them because we know how we were raised. But at the same time, you want to make it a point to make sure that they're at least situationally aware when you're not going to be around. So
Yeah.
I'm excited for her. Still crying a little, like when I see her say something about the trip, I like cry a little, but I know this is an important
Yeah,
part.
no, it's very important and it's a good thing too. She's going to learn a lot and she's going to appreciate it. And that just makes me so excited for young Black girls, young girls of color, for them to be set up to start creating that life that they desire, even if they don't have like all the money in the world to do it whenever they want at the drop of a hat, but they're able to have something in place so that when they do want to have that one time experience, that once in a while experience, they can indulge and actually learn something, right? And that's what I love when it comes to Black women traveling. That's really what it's about. It's about the experiences. And, if you see these videos that these Black girls are uploading of when they travel, none of it has a man. They're all in the camera. It's all about them experiencing the city, the architecture, the food, taking little road trips throughout the area that they're in, hiking and meeting new people. And guess what? There's so many Black women solo travelers. Like all these videos I've shown, majority have been Black women traveling on their own and then reporting how safe it is and reporting, how the people have treated them. And I do think that globally, Black women and girls are creating a very positive image for themselves because these are the type of videos that are getting a lot of attention. Videos about how Black women can use men overseas for money and free meals. Those videos aren't anywhere to be found over here versus the passport bros who literally all of the content is how to get a woman to sleep with them at the drop of a hat with no effort whatsoever. Totally disgusting. And that's why these Brazilian women are upset. That's why they're mad because you're not showing pictures and videos of the beautiful scenery, you're talking about how easy these women are in bed, and same with like Thailand and stuff. It's just, it's not the same. We're not the same when we travel.
I
This is
agree.
not,
But
the
I will say
traveling is
this,
not a black person issue, it's a black man issue.
yeah, I will say this. Like, if you do go to Lisbon, if you do go to Spain, because I saw some of the women there, you will get quite a few free meals. I'll say that for sure. You will get quite a few free meals. Black girl magic.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
We'll definitely
Of
get a couple
course.
tabs paid out here.
I mean, hey, nothing wrong with that. Look, of course, like, I mean, as they should. Like, black women are beautiful. They're going to these cities where there really isn't a lot of black women in these cities as well. So you're gonna get treated very well in these cities. You're gonna get treated, yeah, like you're royalty, like you're a celebrity or something, because there's not a lot of black people or African people that frequent in a lot of these areas.
Yeah, and I mean, I like Northern Europe. I think was there's some thirsty dudes up there, but I mean, and it's like, you know what I mean? They're like real upfront too, and they're like very abrupt. I'm like, oh no, I'm married. But I mean, yeah, one of my girlfriends got scooped up by one of those big, humongous little Thor looking dude. Like, man.
Oh,
yeah, that was 13 years ago, girl. 13 years. She went up, girl. It was supposed to be a trip. It's been 13 years, and she still ain't back.
dang. I mean, it can happen. Like, you
Yeah,
can
he took my
find,
girl from me. I was like, who this? This whole big old. He is not a small man, but I mean, he was. Yeah,
I mean,
like that was 13. Yeah, 13 years. I can't
wow.
believe it. Yeah, because she was telling me her daughter's 11, and yeah, 13 years ago, and it was supposed to be a trip. It was supposed to be a girls' trip.
I mean, it can happen. It can happen at any time, anywhere. And that's why I think the more open you are, the more you put your self out there, then, the more you're likely to get the best type of experiences, and the best type of things are able to happen to you. So black women being open, expanding your options, not just in your dating life, but in all types of areas when it comes to the places you would want to travel. Instead of going to the city club type of spots, expand and go to places that have rich history and architecture and amazing food. Like, those spots are, you never know what could be waiting for you out there. Like, you never know what type of lifelong connections you can make if you open yourself up to that. So I'm not surprised that a lot of black women can go overseas and find a spouse, go overseas and, hey, build a network that they can utilize for business. That doesn't surprise me at all. Not one bit.
Yeah, she was an educator, and I see here you have Stockholm on the screen now, and this was Oslo, and yeah, girl, and they're so like fascinated with like your hair and your skin, and and just how tall she was, and just, I mean, everywhere we went, I mean, they was just so fat, like, oh my gosh, you're a teacher, thank you so much for being here. Yeah, 13 years ago. And
Exactly.
I mean, just so I'm just glad you did this live, and I'm glad you're encouraging black women to have a good time, and you're giving them inspiration, because I think there's so many great opportunities, but still, ladies, be safe. And I wish you the best. And so, for you ladies who are going to be traveling, I want you guys to have a great time, because it's an amazing experience. And I would never, ever take my 20s traveling in the military. I would never take that back.
Yes, exactly. Definitely be safe. That's number one. Whether it's like you said, a trip for luxury, a trip because you're a student, professional, or maybe you are just trying to travel and meet other people and just do your thing. Be safe. You know what I'm saying? Be safe. I wouldn't like broadcast every single place you're going, just in case you don't want to be tracked by anyone. Just be safe and have a good time. Be open, but be cautious, right? And connect with people while you're away, so that, God forbid, anything crazy happens, you have people that have your back. So that's what I would say are the main differences with black women that travel, it's much more intentional. It's much more of an experience, and much more positive results come with the way that Black women travel versus these passport bros who are just quite literally out to get women. Literally, they're not doing it the same, and they're not even going to the same type of places. They're going to countries that are, they're not. They don't have the best infrastructure, the best system of governments in these countries that they advertise. It's just like these men aren't trying to go to Italy to find wives. They're not trying to go to Sweden. Like they're going to Thailand, Philippines, and Brazil are like the main ones that I've heard, and other parts of South America. So, there's definitely motives for that. There's motives behind that. So, oh, someone. Okay. Hey, Leonard,
Hey,
how's it going?
oh, it's going great.
What are
You
your
just
thoughts?
say again.
Oh, I was just asking you what are your thoughts on today's topic?
Oh, well, I only caught about 10 minutes of it. I didn't know if it was a men allowed type situation, so I said, well, let me sit in the backstage and listen for a little bit. But
Yeah,
you're
anyone's allowed
exactly
on stage.
right, and I've said this countless times. Various different videos. You get these guys passport bros, right?
Hmm.
And we would get into different conversations. I would tell them, I said, look, I go abroad, I only go to countries that the euro is their denomination of currency or the British pound. I don't
Hmm.
go to peso land. You see what I'm saying? I don't do that because, if I want to know, if I want to, go to some, I don't have to, I do not have to fly to the Dominican Republic or South America, whatever, if I want to go and be on some impress some people, I could just go back to the south side of Chicago where I grew up at. It's just
Hmm.
that simple, and even like with the military thing, going here, going there, that's a great experience for getting around, for a number of reasons. Number one, you're getting a paycheck. Number two, you get a chance to experience everything going on around you while you get the paycheck, and you're good. It's too easy. It's too easy. But you got a lot of rippling and grappling back and forth, and you know, you got the passport bros. They're talking about that thing, and well, I didn't want to name names. I don't know how you run your streams. It's my first time on here, so I don't know if you permit name.
Yeah, you can name names as yeah,
Okay,
no, I don't
here you
really.
go. You have this guy, Obsidian, right? Don't know if you're
Mhm.
familiar with him.
Yeah, he invited me on his show a few months back. I declined, but yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
but that
familiar.
was a
Yeah.
good that was a good move because you this is a guy that's in his mid 50s, Social Security disability. That's the reason he could doggone be on YouTube for the hours and hours and hours that he's on YouTube. Okay, now he's on this Austin Holloman kick. I'm sitting here like, okay, what's 55 divided by two? Hey, that's his age. Austin Holloman is how old? 23. What are you even doing communicating with a man in his early 20s on some align yourself with? See, the thing with him, he is the ultimate grifter. He's trying to tap into an audience of all these lonely, just can't get rights as of men. That's what I call them. They can't get rights.
Hmm.
And he does all this yippee yappy yippee yappy yappa. And I'm like, but where your pension at, bruh? You do a lot of chitter chattering. I go on camera when I'm online. Where's your pension, bro? Okay. Where's your house?
Right.
So you have that aspect of it all. Then the counter side of that is Cynthia G. She's the counter. And all of these people, from your Obsidians, Kevin Samuels, Passport Bros, to your Cynthia G's, Tanya TKO's, Crimson Cures, all of them are trauma bonding.
Hmm.
All of them. Now, I don't know if, while you were in the military, you deployed to Iraq, Afghanistan, any of that. That I don't know. But
No,
when you
I've
go,
never been in the military myself.
oh, okay, that was the other woman that
Mocha
was on
Mommy,
there.
yeah, that's who. Yeah, she was in the military, so she's been to a lot of those places. Yeah.
Okay. Well, once you're done with all of that, if you went to, you went during the war years like myself, and you go through the counseling thing like myself, they teach you about trauma bonding. And me, I avoid trauma bonding. I just put it all out there, like, hey, look, you are grifting, you're trying to sell books, move books, talking about what black women aren't. You have Napoleon syndrome, you're in your mid 50s, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That guy, because there's a friend of mine, she went to Amsterdam. They had this DJ thing over there, right? And
Mhm.
she went over there. She enjoyed being out of Chicago, but she felt like she was being racially profiled over there.
Hmm.
From what that's when she and I used to be friends. Like, they'll follow me around the store and they're this and they're that and all this other stuff. I'm like, well, did you say you were American? Well, I shouldn't have to. I'm like, see, that's where you go wrong. That doggone that I shouldn't have to mentality. Look, the world does not revolve around black Americans. Point blank period. Okay? It doesn't. I
Mhm.
mean, it just doesn't. How do young folks say keep it 100? Yeah, I don't use that terminology a lot, but it does not revolve around black people.
Yeah, and I think if you're gonna travel, as a black person, it's best that you go with a mindset of you just want to enjoy yourself. Don't go with the mindset of who's watching me, who's out to get me. I think that's an unhealthy mindset to have in general, even if you're here doing your thing here. Just in general, worry about how you can have the best experiences first and then put up caution all the time, however, but don't thrive in that. Don't thrive in someone's out to get me, who's watching me, because yeah, the world doesn't revolve around you specifically. You should be open to experiencing the best type of experiences you can get. You should be open to, involving yourself around great people, great environments, and just let that be the reason, let that be the focus, and just tune out all that negative noise. Because a lot of it, yeah, a lot of it is insecurities a lot of people have, especially,
Mm-hmm.
there are a lot of Black people that have certain insecurities with who they are. They have imposter syndrome. They have all types of things going on that prevents them from really enjoying themselves and having great experiences. And we do have to remind each other, like, don't be so caught up in this negativity. Enjoy yourself. Understand what's really going on. Pay attention, be present, be intentional, and try and that noise that's in your head, that stuff you're so worried about, it's not going to matter in the long run if you wake up and realize that.
Mm-hmm. Just like if I'm going to go over to Germany, okay, it's a friend of mine. I'll call him, tell him, hey, look, I should be at the Berlingen Bahnhof. That's their train system. At this time, just pick me up and you know, we'll hang out and talk about the good old days and this, that, and the third. He's from Greece, and his family moved to Germany. They had restaurants, this and that. Made some nice money. Uh, his cousin, Katerina, that's how to properly pronounce her name. She's about 5 hours away from me. She got married, and She's 5 hours away. We get on the phone every so often. Every time we get on the phone, it's like a 3 hour conversation because we haven't talked for a while. But she's like, yeah, you come, you visit, if you come weekend, we go walk on the beach, and my husband, he's okay, everything, and it's like, okay, well, I understand, and culturally with them, that's cool. Me, I'm just not comfortable if I'm going to go someplace visiting and I'm staying in the house with a married man's wife and he is off at work or whatever. I'm just not, culturally that's an American thing. You don't open that can of worms because too many things can be said that are not true, or too many things could happen that you don't want to happen. You know what I mean? So just one not wanting to put themselves in a precarious situation. But I have a number of friends, different countries, and and the countries are countries that use euro. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't go to South Korea. What's the doggone transfer rate? Oh, X amount of won to the dollar. Nah, that's just not. That's just not the place
Yeah.
for me. Because the
Well, it's
euro and the
really,
dollar.
yeah,
It's
I
probably
mean, I was just gonna say it's really refreshing to see, you know, you as, a black man who doesn't sounds like you don't really agree with this passport bro thing that's going on, and what
I,
they
I, I
stand
don't
for exactly.
I don't agree with taking advantage of people. You have people, men and women, that are doing this, like what was how Stella got her groove back? Remember that? This
Yeah.
dude basically used her in order for him to gain citizenship in the United States.
Yeah, I think that was a true story, wasn't it? Based on
Yes,
the
it was based on a true
lady's
story.
life.
And now he's running around L Gibbet. Hey, you
Yeah,
know,
he came
yeah,
to marry her, but then ended up being, gay, I guess. That's how the real story went, I believe.
yeah, that's exactly how the real story went. So it's like, okay. I mean, I see that happen with women in the military. It's like, you know, and as of when you get black people that get a person that is non-black, trust and believe, men and women alike, they do the same thing. They just put that person all in the other person's face or the people's face, like, see, look at what I got. Look at what I got. Like, you actually got something that's that much better than, it. The whole thing is trauma bonding. We're going over here because beautiful women will talk to us, and okay, they'll talk to you because they know you're American and they know that 20 of your dollars is 100 of theirs.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's
it's because
very
those
simple.
countries, they don't the US dollar is worth a lot in those countries, and that's why, they may get a better response from women out there because those women are, poor, or if they have money to the standards in their country, it's still not a lot when it's converted into the US dollar.
Yeah,
So, that is the main reason, but it's
yeah,
just, but then you have to ask, okay, well, then is it genuine? Because now they're only checking for you, for the money you have. Because if you are a regular guy from that area, would they be checking for you the same way? So, you always got to look out for that as well.
yeah. I mean, because that's like, I would go back to the neighborhood I grew up in, you know, and I would go back there. And there's always someone back there from back in the day that called me Len the Nerd, like others. Okay? That's what you call me, Len the Nerd. right?
That's funny.
Yeah, I laugh at it now because I'm like, you're still in Inglewood, all kind of hood, you know. I always liked it. You liked it? Okay, that the horse is out the barn once you say liked it. All right, this no, like you called me Lynn the nerd, just like everyone else. When I became a high school DJ, DJing on a college radio station, then I became cute. Like I wasn't cute before that weekend, right? And that was a hilarious part of my life. I played on Friday Night Audio, WKKC, that's Kennedy King College. Returned back to school Monday. Oh, yeah. I'm like, oh, it's perks that come to this DJ thing. And I abused them all. I'm not going to lie and say that I didn't, because I did. I took full advantage of all of the DJ perks. Yes, I did. Because I knew it wasn't they liked me because of me. I was not a game banger. I was not a thug type. I was one of those, you better be in the house before the street lights come on kids, and all of that stuff. I wasn't worried about the police at all. I was like, if I got caught up with something with the police, be like, could you keep me? Keep you? I don't want to go home because I know I'm going to get it. I was more scared of what I would get at home than any police officer. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah.
You get those that talk to me that, oh man, they talk that lazy English, that like you just woke up or you need a nap.
Mm-hmm.
That, and you ain't man, nigga. I'm like, oh, first of all, I'm nobody's nigga. Let's get that part straight. Oh, so what, you think you ain't black anymore? Like, actually, I'm Creole. So you ain't black. Okay, you said that. So you think you better than me? I'm like, no, you think I'm better than you. That's the reason you said it. I did. I mean, it's insane. The defeatist attitude, like that's a whole other show. But you've got a whole group of trauma bonding people trying to prove they don't need, the other group does not deserve them, right? And that they're going to find better by, what was that show? I mean, that song, Don't Go Chasing Waterfalls. They think that they're going to get better by waterfalls chasing. It's like, okay, go chase the waterfalls. Do what you do. Do you and be great. But when I put some common sense on top of it, there you go. And see, when you have, this is what I've noticed from I don't do live streams a lot, but I go on different panels. When you get panels that people are speaking to each other, we're having a conversation right now, they're not interesting to people. They want to hear people. That's what they want. Stop me when I lie.
No, you've definitely been speaking some facts. There are a lot of people who are under a lot of different delusions. A lot of waking up does need to happen, especially if Black women want to improve their life. There's a lot of waking up they need to do. There's a lot of waking up a lot of Black men need to do as well. I mean, there's just in general a lot of work to do. And I think, like I said earlier, with another content creator that was up here, these conversations are very important, and being able to share your experiences, sharing your perspectives, it can really help somebody. And keeping things, all to yourself or flat out lying. I feel like there's a lot of people on here, a lot of Black people on here lying, saying everything is great over here. And hold up, well, wait a minute, we're not being real, we're not keeping it real over here. And that can put a lot of people in danger. A lot of impressionable people that haven't experienced much on their own can become in danger, really internalizing these messages where everything that glitters is gold, and that's just not the case.
Right.
So, but I really want to thank you for coming up and sharing your perspective. It's definitely valuable. While um, I haven't had any men come up and talk about this yet, so I really appreciate sharing your thoughts on this.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm kind of surprised because another, like, if I could have a couple of more moments, one thing that will help you along when you're letting people on, if someone chimes on, because this happens with a lot of your smaller content creators, people will have video going, it'll be looped, and it'll look like it's an actual person, and it's not. And then next thing you know, they'll put some disgusting stuff within the screen, right?
mm,
Easy way to avoid that, like, glasses on my head. While they're in backstage, you can be like, hey, take your glasses off. Take them off. Take your glasses off. Put them back on your head. Then you know you're dealing with a real person. But if you're like, take your glasses off, you're doing this. Take your glasses off, and then they're talking. That's a video of someone else that may have been on your show before that's running, and then as soon as you let that person up, they put some disgusting stuff on your screen. I had to learn that the hard way from different people. I saw what do they call it, emoji? I'm like, oh, that's my guy, and I clicked on, and next thing you know, all hell broke loose, and I had to block them. But there's a lot of people they're trauma bonding. It's one and all. And me, I don't stick strictly. Oh, these women, they. And if I was a woman, well, these men. And the part I can't understand for the life of me, and I'm gonna close it out with this because sometimes I can get beyond. I don't know why these women have these LGBT guys talking about, well, them men. They always lisp and sound like steam escaping from a pipe or something. These men. I'm like, you're going to take advice from this dude that likes dudes? Make it make sense to me. Make it make sense. And it's not by no stretch of the word bashing the Rainbow Mafia. But I'm like, if you are a woman and you're interested in a man, wouldn't it behoove you to talk to a man that's interested in women opposed to a man that's interested in men too? You know what I'm saying?
yeah, I mean, I don't have any the content creators that come onto my platform and speak, for the most part, we focus on talking about, you know, heterosexual relationships. Now, people who may be a part of that community and want to give Black women dating advice, I personally don't see any harm in it. It just depends on the Black woman listening. It just depends on how she dates and the type of man she's looking for. I mean, you know, I that's really all I can say on that. I'm not knocking anyone who believes that they have something valuable to share, especially when they see a certain group of people struggling in any way. I welcome all types of criticism. I welcome advice. I welcome all different types of perspective. I personally don't discriminate, but there are women who benefit from hearing advice from the woman that they see that they want to be like. And then there's women who want advice from the opposite end of spectrums, from people of different groups. I personally have said on my channel that I think women should listen to other women who are where they want to be. That's what I think is the most important type of woman you want to listen. You want to be married, maybe you should be listening to a woman who's married on how to date, how to vet. You want to start this business, listen to a person who's an entrepreneur. and has a successful business model that you like. I think if you really prioritize the people that are where you want to be and you listen to them, I don't think you can lose in that way. That's my opinion on that.
Yeah, well, I mean that's factual. That's like, okay, if I want to know anything about credit establishment, building on that end of the fence, right? I'm not going to talk to somebody that if they open their Experian app, their FICO score is 700. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I want to talk to somebody who, you know, is where I've been striving to be. I mean, because it only goes up to 850, and the closest I've reached is 813. And seeing as I don't have anything else to do, I'm just, that's my. How can I do and move and maneuver and make that happen? Just so I could say that I did it, because it's literally nothing else for me to do. I mean, my children are grown and gone. I enjoy time with my grandchildren. Married, been there, done that. Hopefully the used to be landed on her feet, because I don't want anybody just, some people, they'll talk foul about the used to be. It's like, why? I mean, aren't you good? Yeah. Well, why are you worrying about them? Shouldn't you wish them success too? I mean, if somebody used to be with them and they're gaining success, that means they're not going to be getting on your nerves, right? I mean, it makes sense to me. I mean, hey, but like I said, it took me 6 years to get out of high school, so I'm not the most studious person in the world, but I can pass the common sense test all day, every day.
No, you made some really good points. I just want to thank you for coming up.
Okay.
And thank you for, contributing to the conversation. I'm glad that, you have the views that you have, because it is refreshing to hear a man, pretty much say that this movement isn't what it seems. And I just want to thank you for coming up and contributing. I really hope that, you enjoyed being on here as well.
Oh yeah, I had a blast. I have to make some videos myself as I go to check the mail. So I was like, well, let me end here, because with the mailbox being the distance away from the house that it is, I may not be able to maintain internet contact. So.
Yeah, of course. I mean, you're welcome back up anytime.
Okay, and I'll subscribe to your channel and everything, so I'll know when you go live.
I'd appreciate that. And hopefully I will see you soon. See you in these YouTube streets very soon.
Okay.
Thanks, Leonard. You take
care. All right, you're very welcome. Bye-bye.
Okay, everybody, my latest. So that is all. It's really all I had to say for this stream today. Thank you, everyone that did come up. Thank you, Lumi, Mokamami, Alexander, and Leonard for coming on and sharing your guys' thoughts on this. Hold on a minute. Oop. I'm gonna end it here. Oh my gosh, it's been 2 hours. I'm gonna leave this live up. If you're catching the replay, make sure to like the video on your way out. And also comment down below your thoughts. Let me see what you guys have been saying though. Moved to Japan 4 years ago and met the love of my life recently. He's already talking marriage, and I didn't have to wait multiple struggle years of dating for him to take me seriously. Okay, period. Period, poo. That's how it should be. I mean, you're living your life, you're doing your thing, and you found love. That's a normal thing that happens to women everywhere. Very normal thing that happens. I'm so happy and excited for you. I hope that, the next time we have these types of conversations, you come on and, feel free to go into more detail about your experience, because that sounds amazing. That really does sound amazing. So I am going to talk to you ladies later. Make sure to like the video. Once again, comment down below your thoughts. Turn on the notification bell so that you don't miss it when I go live. And I'll talk to you ladies in the next one. Bye.